Hi. 2 days before the FBI interrogated Hillary Clinton about the email scandal, Bill Clinton met with Attorney General Loretta Lynch on the Tarmac in Phoenix, Arizona, for a surprise, unsolicited meeting. What happened and how did that affect Lynch? The answers are in a wonderful new book that you should get by Ed Klein, the same guy who wrote The Amateur and Blood Feud and Unlikable. And this book is now called Guilty of Sin. It came out today. And in it, he describes what happened in that meeting, what went on and what the background was. And if you see that and you read that in conjunction with my book, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary, you really get a feel for how this unfolded and what's going down here. When Bill heard that Loretta Lynch's plane was flying into Phoenix, he was already in his plane, or ready to take off. And in fact, they were taxiing to the runway. And he told his pilot, "Don't take off, stay on the ground." And he skidded to a stop and turned around and went back to the taxiway. Bill then told the Secret Service agent on board to tell Loretta Lynch's Secret Service agent that the president wanted a word with her. Not the ex-president, not President Clinton, the president. And when Lynch's plane landed, Bill walked across the tarmac to get on Lynch's plane. But before he did, when he was considering whether to meet with her or not, he picked up the telephone and called a longtime associate of his, someone who he's gotten advice from for 40 years. Klein doesn't reveal the name, but I suspect it's Bruce Lindsay. And he asked him, "Is there a downside in my meeting with Lynch? I want to scare her, and I want to intimidate her in this investigation." And Lindsay said, "There's no downside for you, but there is one for her." Actually, the phrase Bill used, I think quoted in the book, was bushwhack her. And but Lindsay said there's a huge downside for her. And Clinton said, "I don't care." And he hung up the phone and he walked across the tarmac and boarded her plane. And he got on the plane, and he said she was obviously, after the visit, he called this aide again and recounted what had happened. He said Loretta was obviously nervous. She was thrown. He said, Bill said that I could see beads of sweat on her upper lip. Her husband was with her, rubbing her back to try to calm her down. And Bill talked about the weather and all kinds of stuff, nothing relevant to the investigation, he said to his aide. But the point was well made, that this man, Bill Clinton, who appointed Loretta Lynch from absolutely nothing to become U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of New York, the second most prestigious U.S. Attorney appointment in the country. And he rescued her from the bureaucracy, put her up there, and his wife, who might be president, would have control over whether she stayed in office, was reappointed, and whether she went on the Supreme Court. And that visit indicated that the full force of the Clinton family and the Democratic Party was engaged on Hillary's behalf at that moment. Then the rest is history. A few days afterwards, Loretta Lynch was asked about the meeting, and she said she'd made a mistake in letting it happen. And 3 days after the meeting, someone on Hillary's staff released that she was considering reappointing Loretta Lynch to Attorney General. All of that indicating the fix. So the fix was in. Klein uses the phrase rigged in describing this meeting. So get his book, Guilty of Sin, and mine, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary, and put them together, and you really get a feeling of how this email scandal reached its crescendo on that tarmac in Phoenix, Arizona. Thanks for watching.